I am modeling this cutaway house, yet another cutaway house. I've done a few of them, and I do really enjoy doing these. And I'm choosing this because I think it's relatively easy for somewhat beginners in Blender to model this. The reference image that I'm using here from the internet, this is not my image, is linked to in part 1. This is part 2, and I might link it here as well, but if not, it's in part 1. All right, and you'll find a link to part 1 in the description or the information section. And so far we've just modeled the basic shell. We've got the rooms, we snapped them together and cut out some windows. And we're going to start up here in the top view, top room, sorry. And we'll start doing that. I should say that what we create in 3D won't look exactly like this, but it might be, kind of close, a bit of a representation. So let's make something easy just to get ourselves started here. We'll do a picture frame here, and we'll use a lot of the same colors when we finally put some very basic materials on this. So we're going to create a rectangle here, and we're going to put it on the wall. Not quite centered, it looks to me. I don't know if that's important or not, but so here I am in Blender 2.79. My screencast keys are on, and we're ready to go. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into edit mode. I'm going to select this face. I'm in face selection. You could do it in any, but I'm going to select that face, and I'm going to go Shift S, cursor to select it. Bring my 3D cursor right there. Instead of bringing in a new object, however, to create this picture, I've got this face right here. I could use this to start building the picture. So I'm going to Shift D to duplicate it and move it out, and then I'm going to hit P and separate by selection. Just choose that. Go back into object mode, and I now have a new piece that I can use to build my picture. I'm going to set the origin to geometry, and I might even Shift S, cursor to selected, just to bring my 3D cursor right to there. I'll go back into edit mode and A to selected and S to scale, and I can now start creating my picture. I didn't have to bring in a new object, I just copied from there. I do that quite a bit. So let's start figuring out where this picture is going to go. It looks like it's a little bit more than halfway and a little bit more of a rectangle, so I'm going to scale this in the Y like that, and we'll bring it up a bit. We'll work on sizing it. So imagine that it was there, and a little bit over. That can all be moved later. And scaling the Z a little bit. Let's start with that. Okay, so I'm going to give this a bit of thickness. So I'll zoom right in, and I'm going to hit E to extrude. I'm going to pull it out of the X to give it some thickness. E and X, I'm just going to pull out like that. Had I pulled it this way, I'd get some discoloration here, like that. I would just have to flip my polys. So I'll do that. Select it all, make sure it's off the wall. Okay, so that would be my basic thickness. Maybe too thick, might not be thick enough. We're going to create this little inset area, dip down a bit, and I think we might dip down a little bit more to make the actual where the picture goes. So I'm going to select just that front face there. I'm going to hit I to inset. I'm going to pull in with my mouse, just moving my mouse like that. I'm not pressing any buttons, to about the size that I want my outer frame to be. That looks good enough. And then I'm going to hit E to extrude, and I'm going to pull it in the X direction just a little bit like that to give it a bit of depth, maybe a little bit more. Alright, and with that still selected, I'm going to do I again, pull in quite a bit more, maybe twice that distance. I don't know, what do you think? More? Maybe more. And then the picture itself is going to go in there, so I'm going to hit E to extrude and come in a little bit more, like that. Let's deselect and come back out. And now that we've moved stuff, let's set the origin to the picture again. Origin of geometry, that just brings my transform tool or gizmo or whatever right to the picture. The 3D cursor's there, it doesn't really matter. Now, to visualize this a bit better, we're going to put a bevel. We'll try a bevel anyhow. Click the wrench, add modifier, bevel, and let's just leave it like that for now. However, I want to look at getting rid of the back face, possibly if it's resting against the wall. We might not need it, we'll see. So it's hard to get to the back. Well, I can actually do it, can't I? Let's try getting rid of that X faces and see if that changes anything for us, if that was resting against the wall. And bring it into the wall. We could snap it to the wall, but I'm not going to worry about that. If I put it there, I should be okay. And of course I can now put it wherever I want in the room and resize it. Okay. I'm going to go back and forth quite a bit. All right. It might be a good idea to do the bed next, just because it's the largest item in the room, and to get the approximate sizes of the other things. So we'll start with this, and it looks like it's one piece, but I'm not sure how we're going to make this exactly. I think we'll use a plane, put an edge loop, and get this piece and that piece. I think. I don't know for sure. And we're going to do the same trick. We're going to go into edit mode, select that face, copy it, Shift D, bring it up a bit. I can go ahead and start scale it. I can hit S to scale. It's still attached to this object. We'll separate it a bit. Scale this into Y and get a sense of how big that bed is. So probably equal space on both sides. It's going to go right against the wall, so we would be roughly there. How much room do I need down there? I can switch over to edge selection and select that edge and just pull it down. And now if I hit A, I'll select everything. I don't want that, so I'll select a piece of this one and go Control L. Or can I just do L? Let's see. Yeah, L. Let's hit P, separate by selection. We now have that piece. Set the origin of geometry. And we have just our bed. Okay, let's go with that. Let's go back into edit mode and think about this. How about we put an edge loop, Control R, roll your mouse up to get two of them, and then SX, and just pull them out equally towards the ends, so that we can create an area that we can extrude up to make this piece and this piece. They're rather thin, so let's go SX a little bit more, like that. And then maybe we'll give the whole thing some thickness first. To do that. Okay, so let's go B, let's pull up like this. My son is waking up. We can always adjust this. Let's select this face and this face. Oh. Come on. Let's save. Okay, now. Alright, we've got that. Looks a little bit thick, these pieces. So what I might do, select those faces and these faces, holding Shift, and I might go SX and pull in to make them a little bit thinner like that. I've got the white part. We'll do some feet. Let's go back into edit mode, look around. Okay, so what I would do for this is I would isolate this bed by going Shift H, and I will hide everything else. I'm going to come back in here. I'm going to select this face here, Shift D, copy it, pull it down, S to scale, and scale it into a bit of a rectangle. Alright, SX, get it a bit more square. I'm going to separate this P, Separate by selection. Try to find it again if you can. All right, there it is. Set the origin of geometry for that. So it's the gizmo's right on that. And let's bring it to here. Control 7 to look from the bottom. G to move. I'm going to pull it to the corner. Now it sort of looks like the leg is flush with the sides, but I don't know if that looks that great, so I'm just going to do it like that. All right, so I'll move it. Let's go into edit mode, and let's E to extrude and pull it down, and just decide if that's too thick. Let's pull it up. Imagine it's there. Does look pretty thick. Let's go back into edit mode. It's not that long. Do that. Let's hit A to select it all and just S to scale it. Bring it up again and imagine it positioned there. I think that probably would look okay. So I'm going to pull it down, and I'm going to X and delete that face, and I think I'm going to delete this bottom face as well. Select it and pull it up, because the top one won't be seen, the bottom one will rest on the floor. So that's really all I would need. Control 7. Okay, I'm going to select this bottom piece, or the basic bed, and I'm going to set the origin of geometry on that, and Shift S, cursor to selected. So I can take this and I can mirror it across. Okay, so with the 3D cursor there and this selected, I can go add mirror, and with the eyedropper select the bed, and I can put it there, and I can also mirror in the Y. And before I apply that, just look, say okay, that looks all right. I'm going to hit apply. It's debatable if I want to join this yet, but I do want to put a bevel on it, so let's just do bevel. And that seems to have done something funny. Let's bevel the bed. And I'm going to try 2, and I'm going to pull it back. So I just have the slightest bit of curvature on there, joining those together. Control J, and it's now assumed the same bevel. So I don't know why that was happening. Doesn't really matter. Let's go Alt H to bring everything back. And there's our bed. Let's bring it down to it contacts the floor, and slide it up, and just look at the overall dimensions of that. I think the picture is pretty much right over top of the bed, and almost the width of the bed, so I think we're kind of okay. I think we could leave that there for now. So we also would have to do the mattress, and for that, yeah, okay. For that, let's just take this piece here, Shift D, and bring it up a little bit. I think I want it a bit narrower, SY, hold Shift to go small increments, E to extrude, pull it up. Let's just have a look at that. Yeah, it's hard to tell if it goes over or in. Let's L, Control L. Let's bring it up. Let's get rid of this bottom face, X faces. Select the piece and go Control L for the parts that are linked to it. Let's pull it back down so it contacts, and see if we want it actually SY wider than the bed. See how that looks. I don't think that looks as good, and certainly we'd see the bottom, so I'm going to go back in and undo that and scale it in the Y a little bit narrower than the bed. And I'm going to bring it up, and I'm going to get rid of these faces, if I can get into that one there. X faces, select it again, Control L, and let's bring it back down. I think it's going to be okay, like that. Contact with the bed. Yeah, we'll go with that. We'll go with that. I don't think I'll worry about the pillows quite yet. We're just moving on. Doing a great job. So that's a one-piece bed right now. Okay. The next thing I might do is do the windows, because we can copy those into all of those spaces. So how to do this? Well, let's go into this window and have a look. I have pieces here. Let's see what we need to do. Basically need to do that. So if I select all of these pieces, they're already in place. If I Shift D to copy them, P to break them out, I should be able to select just that. The gizmos here, let's set the origin to geometry. Let's go into edit mode, hit A, and I get just that. Now, I may not have wanted to do this exactly. Let's try E and S. That seems to work pretty good for us. Let's select it all and SY, scale it down thinner. And let's move it back. And let's have a look at this. Is this roughly what we're going for? It's indented in there, or inset in there. We need a central piece, so let's take this, Shift D, SX, to make it thinner, and then let's E and bring it up. Don't worry right now about the color, let's just get the thickness. I believe it's roughly the same thickness as that. So let's select this piece and Control L. Let's look from where 1. All right, and let's just get it to roughly match that. SX. It's thinner like that. Now we can get rid of some faces. Let's go into wireframe. Let's look down from the top and select that, X faces. And from down here, not that one, let's try to get the right one, that one, X faces. If we want to, we can go into edge selection and Shift Alt and click that edge, and we can pull it down until we like, you know, just have it inside a little bit. Just look at this. All right, let's select it and go Control N to flip polys. So I want it all as one piece exactly like that. I think I do. I think I do. Let's try adding a bevel to this and seeing how it works. Let's reduce the amount of bevel, just like that. I'm going to try 2 segments, see how it looks. It might come up a bit. I might pull it forward a bit. Doesn't matter if it sticks out the back, whether you want to delete faces or not. Not going to worry too much about that yet. I think that's probably okay. So it's just like that, right? Now, I don't know what we're going to do about a window in there, or we'll leave it open, but I probably would select, well, if I select there, I can select all that. So right now I'm going to go Shift D, P to break it out, go back in, select that edge, go into edit mode, select it and go F to make a face. Let's see if it's flipped the right way. Looks good. It's a separate piece, right? If I pull it in a little bit, I might do that. How much of my frame do I have? A decent amount. I may join these. Select that one and this one and go Control J. And so I get the whole window like that with a bit of frame. Alright, let's try this. Shift D. Let's bring this down here. Okay, I'll probably have to take a break in a minute. We could try snapping. Although I don't know, no, it's not going to snap the way I want it to. So I may have to just position these. On the other hand, we'll see. Could have done all this and, at the same, copied it all together. But so we're just moving these windows, trying to get them into place. In a similar position. It doesn't have to be exact. Anyhow, and saving along the way. Okay, all this can be adjusted. I'll copy this one. Is that the one that's the same? That's the one that's the same. Okay, I'll take it from here. Shift D, rotate Z 90 minus, move in the Y, move in the X, move in the Y. This is position, well, we could look from 3. Just get it into spot. Pushing in more, we'll leave a little bit of an overhang. Control 3 is the straight on view. We could make these a little bigger so they fit better and there's no, gap there. I'm going to press in the Z. Move in the Z. I think that's probably okay. I might make them a little bigger, we'll see. Alright, we got windows, and what about this one? Yeah, it's the same. Looks like the same thickness, but a smaller window. That might be a little bit interesting. Let's take this one. Shift D. Not that. So what I'm going to do here, I'm pull it in front a little bit. I go into edit mode and wireframe. Select it and I'm going to sort of center it around my window. I'm in edit mode. I'm in wireframe. I'm going to go into vertex selection and I'm going to box select here and I'm going to pull it down so that my frame pretty much fits in like this. I'm going to take this side and pull it. There's the edge. Just ever so slightly over. And this one. Oh, someone's going to the bathroom. That way I haven't changed the width of the frame by just globally scaling. I'm in edit mode, pulling points. Cool, so we got a bed and we got some windows, and I think that's good enough for the time being. So we'll come back, we'll do more in the next video.